Evening, guys. Welcome to tonight's Hangout in the Crib. As you can see, we've got Rob playing train with us, and Larry the BP Prof, and myself, Earth. And we are going to be talking about all of the changes from this week. OP7, .12, some new time-limited campaigns and stuff like that. So I think we'll just go straight to Larry and we'll start going through it.
All right. We got a lot of material to cover, and just was revealed to us this morning or this afternoon, so maybe not quite as detailed as I'd like, but I think we got everything. So let's head right in. First updates, they fixed 2 issues with the countermeasure part of the Trident. Wouldn't always fire on NPC turrets, and wouldn't always fire when it was on ships with remote targeting. So hopefully that will work a little better now. Couple other changes, extra 4 hours to do the Forsaken mission. They say that's because of the extension of the event. Whatever, I guess we'll take it. Base designer improvements and OP7. I haven't actually checked out the base designer. Have you guys checked that out?
Yeah,
Uh,
it's the first thing I did. Um,
I
it's
actually haven't.
amazingly different, to be honest. You can see them all. The building area has increased. It's going to make a lot more creative designs. I can tell already. Looks pretty good.
All right. Okay, and then on the schedule, just as a couple reminders, we've got a limited time campaign called Caustic Warfare, and that'll be starting, what is that, Saturday, 19th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's Saturday.
that'll be available for 2 weeks. And we got a couple slides on that and the prizes coming up. And then Forsaken Arena Tournament starts next week on Thursday. And the prizes for those were previewed as new limited weapons, armors, and specials. So we'll see how that, we'll learn more next week, I'm sure. And then the base defense feature was pushed to the 29th of September. And so that's not new information, but just a reminder for everybody.
I'm actually quite looking forward to that.
Yeah, me too. So Caustic Warfare. Again, it's a limited time campaign. It'll run for about 2 weeks, it looks like. And it has obviously some new items as prize packs, and then a mastery prize, the classified prototype hunter. So since it's not released yet, I don't know too much about what's in it, but they claimed it was both Draconian and Scourge. So these might be Warzone style campaigns. If you remember some of the some of the ones with Draconians and Reavers fighting each other. So we'll look for that. And as I recall, a good strategy that I liked was to just drop in like a Kuda or something and hide in the corner and let them fight it out and kill each other off for a while and then come in with a fleet. So hopefully that strategy will work again. So we've got new prizes. The strike warheads are a combo penetrating damage and concussive damage increase. You can see that up here. It's not bad for the weapon weight. Some players like to combine missiles and torps on some hulls like the Interceptor. And then we've got the new Charin torpedo, which weighs more than the assault torpedo, but hits a lot harder and also at longer range. The drawback here is its build time, a lot longer than an assault torp, and also it doesn't give you that speed bump that the assault torps do. So a little bit of a trade-off there, but these certainly hit hard.
Yeah, I mean, those two together look pretty awesome to me, especially for fleet versus fleet and the way that the raids are going. It's probably, if you can at least get prize pack 1, that's going to help you out if you've got a mixed fleet of interceptors.
Yep. And then, you know, Kixeye in the briefings said that the blueprint for the Interceptor, or for the prototype Hunter, was classified, but Irf, with his elite hacking skills, went to the ship designer and pulled this up. So it's revealed. And so you can see it's got 6 combo weapon slots, 4 torpedo weapon slots, 4 armor slots, and 5 special slots. And then it's got 15 combat speed, so it's not quite the 16 we've seen on the Rhino and the Neptune and a few new hulls, but it's still got some pretty good speed and slots to work with. It's also got really good sonar and thermal imaging, good defenses, good reload, good concussive damage, and then also I noticed it's got the assault deflection stat, so it'll start taking damage right off the back end of any sort of ship damage that you take. So this ship is really tailor-made to fight the Scourge, if you want to start a fleet for that. What do you think, guys?
Having played around with it a bit earlier on, you can get some really good damage output on that. With the new special that you get from the same campaign, you can get the concussive damage up to like 147%, which is pretty nice. Penetrating reload, of course, is really good. If you're going to make a mixed fleet, I'd probably suggest using the Blade missile that's coming up, because the damage output on it's pretty good. Same range as the Harrier, same reload time. Slightly heavier, but a lot more damage. But yeah, it looks really, really good. Obviously, fully kitted out, it's roughly about a 23, 24 day build if you use the Sharon torpedoes, because they're quite a long build time. But yeah, it looks really good to me. I'm quite liking it.
All right. All right, Rob, you got anything you want to add? Okay, we'll move on. So now I'm going to move on to the Forsaken mission prizes. We've got a few new prizes to go through. And first one is new countermeasure loaders. So the Countermeasure Loader 1 used to be the only one that was available. Now we've got Countermeasure Loader 2 on Tier 3 and Countermeasure Loader 3 on the Elite tier. Now the benefit of the loaders is that it combined the range and accuracy increases from the countermeasures with the reload bonus. So you know, if you like dedicated countermeasure ships, maybe the countermeasure equipment is still your better choice. But for hulls that you're combining countermeasures and offensive weapons, these loaders really are useful special. Again, the build time starts getting pretty long, especially looking at this Countermeasure Loader 3. But it is a nice special. You got a really nice accuracy increase along with a 20% reload bump. So if you're willing to spend the time, these are a nice special. Anything else, guys?
It's a good special to use as well on ships, which have got 5 special slots. If you just haven't got really any use for a 5th special, just if you can fit this on just for the extra reload on the weapons, is good in itself.
Yeah, that's right.
Agreed. I mean, if you're using Kodiaks for doing chores, auto and stuff and bits and pieces, because you already get some bonuses to your antis, don't you, on the Kodiak, so that would go really well on that as well, if you could fit it on there.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it's really good. It's about time that we had an upgraded countermeasure special, so yes.
Yep.
about time, I think.
Now, for me, I like the really accurate anti-missile, so I might still stick with the equipment 3, the 40%. But yeah, yep. All right. Next, the blade, and this one's really the rock star here. So it's fundamentally, it hits as hard as a Siege Missile Z, but it builds in a little bit more than half the time, weighs a third of the weight, and yeah, it hits like a ton of bricks. So it's also got 80% flak evade, so those countermeasures and flak just aren't going to be so good against the blade. I threw up the comparison chart here and included some DPS and DPS per ton. You can see even the damage per weight, it just kicks the Trident's ass, and the Trident was pretty good itself. So, and it doesn't have that short range that the Trident had. So this if you're looking for a missile just to do a lot of damage, against the Scourge as well, this is your new missile that you want.
Is anybody getting fed up with refitting rhinos? Yeah.
There's a lot of missiles being out recently, but this one tops it off. Hopefully, there's not going to be a more powerful one. If not, I'm putting this on my Protomass fleet.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's going to be awesome on Protomasts. The reload time's really good on it. The weight is exceptional for the amount of damage that it does.
Oh, definitely.
And that 80% flak evasion is just nuts. It's going to be awesome for hitting bases.
Well, I haven't looked at the whole thing about how I'd fit it on my fleet yet, but I'm going to suspect that I could probably go 10 of these, maybe, because my siege missile fleet on my Mastodons is 6 siege and 4 strikes. So, I could probably fit a hell of a lot more of these and drop the strikes, maybe even tank up my spotters a bit more.
Yeah. And, I did run, I published an article this morning, a little bit of a post-raid article, and did a spreadsheet comparing a bunch of missiles, and then I just an hour or two ago added in the blade missile to that spreadsheet. And I mean, even as a 1-for-1 swap with Siege Missile Z, it increases your damage. So it's really, really powerful. It's just yeah. I mean, a Harrier is a nice refit, but you need sort of like 2 Harriers to equal 1 Siege Missile Z. The blade just really, really hits hard. And then the other thing is that it is already in the retrofit lab with siege missiles. And my siege missiles happen to be R15 already. So that damage is increased even more if you've already retrofit your siege missiles.
So it's going to hit even harder.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, it's an awesome missile.
Yep.
It's going to be the new go-to missile. I think even taking into account the bypass that you get with the Harrier, this is still going to kick it to touch, really, I think.
Yeah, and that's what my numbers showed in the spreadsheet. Even with the bypass, it was a lot more powerful than the well, not a lot more powerful, but more powerful than the Harrier. So hey, actually, I'm going to take a break here, and we've got a special guest. As some of you know, I issued a request to Kixeye to interview somebody, and they didn't respond too positively, but we have, as our special guest, we have the Kixeye mascot. Come here, mascot. Come here. Do we here? Come on. Let the camera see you. Yeah. Yep. All right. Hello, mascot. Do we have anything that we'd like to say to the Kixeye mascot? Any questions?
Can we talk to the Kickside mascot about build times?
Build times. Hey, Kickside mascot, why are build times so damn long? You money grubbing piece of garbage! Get.
He's definitely the Kickside mascot then.
Get! I'm not giving you any gold. I've got no gold here. Alright, I guess he's going to play World of Warships. But, well, Kickside might have sacked their, some of their staff, but they didn't cut the travel budget because they sent us the Kickside mascot. Thanks, guys. Alright, back to the show. Alright, moving on from the blade. Deadeye Ballista. So we got a limited elite prize. You have to get all the other prizes available on the elite tier before they'll award you this Deadeye Ballista. So it's a javelin with piercing, and I guess that's how it plays out there. What I noticed is I ran some DPS numbers on it, and it was just about exactly the same DPS. If you look down here, the DPS of the Deadeye Ballista is just about the same as the DPS of the Deadeye Executioner. So I thought that was kind of interesting. It almost seemed like somebody planned it that way. The Ballista has piercing, so it will attack a stacked up fleet. The Deadeye Executioner has the penetrative bypass, so that'll increase its DPS as well. So, but you know, they're kind of in the same neighborhood. They've got just about the same range, and again, same DPS, similar power. And then I also, on this chart, looked at some of the possibilities here with some specials. DU Shells 3, it puts the power way over a Turret 5, but Kickside released Turret 6, so you can get this kind of power level, and we'll talk about that later. And then similarly, the Deadeye Executioner, you can put smart warheads on it, increase its DPS, but not as much as these DU Shells 3 on a Deadeye Ballista. So there you have that.
I reckon that's going to be lots of fun.
They haven't put much effort into the designing or the graphics, have they? It looks like a fucked up harpoon.
Should I get the mascot back here and ask him about that?
I mean, it is pretty much what? It's just an arbalest, it seems, doesn't it? It seems like a base turret arbalest version.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be pretty good. You know, again, it'll keep people from stacking up, likely, which means that in conjunction with Apox, that might be a really good mix.
Just wanted to say, Andrew Crown from chat says the image of the unicorn sitting on the corner of your bed is disturbing.
Yeah, it did look like a scene out of some budget horror movie.
And to please leave the mascot in his cage, please.
He's got to go put some of his rainbow poop on my garden. Yeah. All right. So anything else about the Ballista?
Not really. It looks like a powerful turret. Looks
Yep.
all right.
Nobody's going to win it this week because even if you do the mission twice, you'll get the Blade and the Countermeasure Loader 3. So
Hackers will.
yeah, that'll be a sure sign of a hacker. And then the other thing is, I don't know about you, but I started Outpost 7 already. So even if I won this, I wouldn't be building it for quite a while.
No, I mean, I think that Outpost 7's, the time scale for it isn't as bad as what we thought. I think it's fairly similar to what Outpost 6 was, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Time-wise.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
We'll get there. But yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be a bit of a slog for some people, I think.
Yeah. So there was supposed to be one more prize, but apparently they're not ready yet. So we've got supercharged electromagnetic rails, which are going to be another prize for improving ballistic turrets. So that might also work well with your Deadeye Deadeye Ballista. But instead, we'll look at Dutch from Killjoys because I really like her.
I suppose you could probably have an educated assumption then that there's going to be a regular ballista as well available at some point.
That's a good thought. Yeah. All right. So Outpost 7. Kixeye put all this stuff in the briefing, but they didn't show the with officer times. So it was about 18.5 days with officer. I'll say the uranium cost is a lot more reasonable than I thought it was going to be. I was expecting 200K, honestly.
To be honest, I wasn't expecting it to be that high, but I thought it would probably be between 75 and 100. So I'm really glad to see that it is a reasonable level for some of the players that do find it hard to get uranium.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so I'm quite happy about that, really.
Right. So with Outpost 7, you get 5 extra land pieces, a square extra to your allowable area that you could build your base in each direction, and then a real significant power increase. So you can really build up your turrets there, I guess. Now
Well,
the one thing we didn't get, I guess, is any extra turrets to place. Now that I think about it.
no, which seems a bit weird.
Well,
I'm not sure it's needed, to be honest. Which
yeah.
might sound, I can't see chat because I'm on my mobile, but maybe people will flip out when I said that. But when you look in a few slides at the turrets, just imagine 2 more of those. I think, considering the upgrades to the turrets at level 6, I think what we've got is enough.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I don't know about other people who are power limited, but I've got 2 turrets that are flax right now, and the reason they're flax is because I can't afford the power for anything better. So in a way, this power increase is going to give me 2 extra turrets.
I'm in a similar situation myself, where I've got coaxes with no specials on in the back of mine, so I'm going to gain 2 turrets as well, pretty much. So yeah, that extra power is going to come in handy.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'll run some numbers, but I mean, well, we'll keep talking about it. All right, let's move on. Dock 12. That's the other big one players were looking forward to. After you upgrade your outpost, you can upgrade your dock. So I think the weight increase is a little bit bigger than a lot of players were expecting. I was seeing people guessing numbers around 36,000 tons, but it's 38,107 is the new max fleet weight with Dock 12. I put a little table in there so you can, if you have a fleet per ship that's all the same. Not that that happens too often anymore, but you can get a rough idea of what that means per ship as well.
I mean, this is quite a major increase, really. It's going to make a lot of difference to guard fleets, especially.
That tactical slot is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people try to protect their docks, so you could, as long as you're careful with splash and retargeting, gain an extra buff to your Island turrets.
Right. Right. Fire support. I was thinking the same thing.
But yeah, it looks pretty good. I quite
Mhm.
like it. And 4 days, 9 hours. That's without an officer. So
I see. I
that's
see you
pretty
got
good.
question marks on repair time. It's actually 3 hours or 6 coins to fix fully dead.
Okay. Thanks, Rob. Did not know that.
So yeah.
Okay. Moving on from the dock. Defense platform level 6. Huge armor increase. Over 40,000 points of armor. And that's without adding any armor. Then, of course, you've got the power increase. So I didn't play around with any configurations, but you might be able to fit 2 permacretes.
Yes, I've tested with mine. My level 6 platform will have 2 permacretes on a pro class with insulated panels. I haven't tried it with the second special, but it would definitely fit with the 2 armors of 1 special. You might be able to fit, like, let's say, compound panels and at least a level 1 or 2 shielded anti-pinch.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And I believe that would make about 160,000 armor at the top of my head.
That's pretty serious.
I think we can quite safely say that prepping those out with deluge missiles is going to be an issue.
Yes, and I will be the one to sit there for 5 minutes over 6 hits to prep out 3 turrets, if needs be.
Don't forget your daisy cutters or bunker busters.
That's not really going to help either, though, is it?
They've just eliminated the extra large bunker on a turret now, haven't they?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It's going to help them if you're going to have to like strategically place them to get the most benefit out of it. But yeah,
You know,
help.
the best thing about these having 2 specials is the anti-pinch on your morts.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So I just did the multiplication. Now 6,400 power times 14 turrets is 89,600. Now if I look back here, you're at 85,000. So I mean, ignoring tactical slots, you still don't quite have enough power to load up every turret, but you're really
I don't
not.
think you would though. You're not going to have armor on your morts or anything, are you?
Well, no, and that's my point is, I mean, you're not going to fully power every single turret, but you can get pretty close on a lot of them. So bases are going to be getting a lot harder to hit after about a month or so.
It's very easy to get the front line full of armor, like maybe a good 5 or 6 turrets packed to the brim and have a lot of power left over for other things.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Moving on from the defense platforms. War Academy level 15. They added a fleet slot and more ship storage slots. I kind of rated this as nice, but not as high priority as doing turrets or dock, or well, obviously I have to do the outpost first. But
I'm not sure what the graphics team are doing, but it looks like there's a giant sinkhole in the middle of that War Academy.
It's got the Harlock logo on there, a little skull and crossbones. But
Yeah, it still looks gash, so.
So they've given us a few extra ship slots, a massive hole in the middle, and some graffiti.
Yep.
I think I'll save my 30,000 uranium.
I'd rather do every single turret before doing this.
Yeah, I think it's nice to have the extra ship storage for people who've been going a long time. But I mean, I binned some MCXs earlier on because I've got loads of space in my dock now.
And don't forget, we recently got, it wasn't that long, we got the 20 slots. So unless you're a huge coiner, I don't think you're going to have used all 20 yet.
Well, I used them. I just have ships that I don't like, that I'm not gonna use.
if
I
you,
just like to put them there so I don't have to scroll past them.
yeah, but that means that if you've used those 20, then you've got 20 in your regular dock that you can now use.
Yeah, I'm not full. Right.
But you got lots of gunboats, so
No, I think I only left one gunboat. Lost a marauder.
I don't think
like
I've got
marauder.
any. I think the only thing I've got is a Corvette. I think that's right.
Alrighty. All right, and then some of the resource changes. You can upgrade your warehouses to level 13 for another 12 million resources. And then you can also upgrade your resource generators. And I don't know why you'd put uranium and 13 days of build time into a resource generator.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
I really do think that this is a little thing just to catch hackers, really. It's just quite obvious that if you go into a base and it's just full of level 12 resource generators, it's sort of blindingly obvious, I think. I don't know.
Tell you what
Yeah.
does worry me. The way that we can hold more uranium now is kind of scary, because it kind of indicates, well, what's the max cost of things going to be in the coming weeks and months, like future retrofits to R5 and 10, which we probably should, obviously expect more in the future. Are we going to see retrofits now more than 208,000?
Yeah, it's a bit of a worry.
I mean, it's still good. I like the way we can fill up more, because then you could fill up on a Tuesday and not have to worry about doing it on Friday if you're doing some cheaper uranium retrofits.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I mean,
Also, it's really good for saving up. If you've maxed out on road crews and you want to fill up on uranium and use loads and loads of road crews in the raid, it's good for that as well.
I don't know. I ended up, I was using road crews every time I went out on the raid, and I'm still full. But yeah. Huh. All right. And then shipyard and walls are also coming soon. Obviously, we're all curious to know what Shipyard 3 is going to entail, and our lovely friend here is very interested in the wall. So
I'm more interested in her.
What wall?
yeah.
Walls?
Can I speculate a little about Shipyard?
Feel free.
So, obviously, a lot of people were going to probably have a little glimmer of hope that Shipyard 3 is going to include some kind of refit bay. I'm going to say I really doubt that that's even a possibility with Kickstarter. But how about some kind of draconian reduction in weight?
Yeah, that's what I was sort of thinking, that we might get a slight extra reduction on staking tech, and then a draconian.
I'm going to link back to the Torps, Larry, and I'm going to say it's a bit sly if that is the case, because they've given us these new Torps, which are Scourge type Torps, aren't they? So I'm starting to think that all these new Torps are going to be as good as people are thinking, because we already spoke before the show, didn't we? And I was saying to you how with my Banshees, I'm probably going to stick with B-Torps, because that speed is well worth it, and the damage is good enough at killing guards. The range is good enough in killing guards, and that's probably what people will be using Banshees for. And if this is the case, where Shipyard 3 helps Draconian tech, then it's going to help B-Torps even more, meaning I can have a less weight on my weapons, on my subs now, whereas the new subs would weigh more.
And add more bulk and have 12-day repair fleet for.
Well,
subs.
It's not just subs, though, is it? Look at the new ships. The secret is in the shipyard fleet. What's coming out? We were saying about the Torps and how they'd be good for the raid. Here's a suggestion: if you're not one who's able to get, well, if you're not able to get the torps, you can't get the ship. But my point is, a lot of ships have a lot of concussive damage. You know, Interceptor type ships, the Artemis, I think, as well. So the B-torps ranked up. We know how they fire. They've got a good rate of fire. They've got good damage, and the range is still really good. Is that lack of speed going to be a hindrance in the raid? Because we always need speed, and is that extra little bit of range really going to help? Because you still need to get in there and spot them with your thermal, and our thermal, apart from the frostburn, isn't more than 88 anyway. So I'm just wondering how useful these torps are going to be.
Well, the Scourge you could pick up with sonar. You definitely pick them up with sonar outside of thermal range. I mean, my frostburn was without any sonar enhancements. So, yeah, I don't know. It's hard to say.
Maybe a mix of them.
I don't like the build time on the new torps. I think a day and a half. Sucks.
I mean, what you can fit? Am I right in saying you can build 3 B-torps in the place of one of those new ones?
4.5.
Oh, really? I thought they took longer. Wow.
What is it? I think they're like 9 hours, 8 hours.
I thought they were 12. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I'll have to check. Well, I'll check. I better not check now. Yeah, well, the other thing that if you really want to let your fantasies run wild, and with her on the screen, why wouldn't you? The other thing that one would hope for from Shipyard 3 is a build time reduction. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
One would hope.
Nice.
But then again, maybe my fantasies are just running wild.
Just another quick thing to point out on these torps before we move away and move on to something else. So they're Scourge type weapons, and they offer nothing more than concussive bonuses. You would think that as a Scourge type weapon, they would have some kind of I forgot what the new thing's called. Corrosive. Yeah, you'd think that they might have had some corrosive damage on or something, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and the other thing is when I saw Charon torps before I saw the stats. The stats on the torps that the Scourge are using are a lot better than those.
I'm gonna throw out my usual speculative advice and say don't rush to build these torps. With the amount of submersive type things in the last raid and what we're probably going to see in the next upcoming raids, I wouldn't rush and build these torps on unless you're a huge coiner and you can afford to, because I'm speculating again still, like I was before, but that was right, and they did bring out new torps. I think there's going to be some torps with the side of corrosive, so I'd rather wait for those.
I hear you. Yeah, you might be right.
Yeah, I'd say it's likely as well.
Okay. We'll move on from Kelly here. So, this week's kick size screw-ups, and I figured I'd devote this slide to the Ascension Raid. And this raid, we didn't really talk about it so much yet. But the thing that I really noticed about kick size actions before and during the raid is they pretty much managed to piss off everybody. To start with, they restricted your play options, right? They took away co-op. They took away the ability to do the easier campaigns. And so people that couldn't do their, and I'm going to use air quotes, level-appropriate campaign had no options. So the people that couldn't do it were upset by those restricted play options. And then, when all those people got upset, they gave away points. Now, that was nice, but, of course, the people that maybe couldn't have started the raid yet, or saw everybody else complaining and saw how hard it was, didn't try it, well, now those people were upset, because if they had hit 135, they would have gotten 4 million points, but, well, maybe they didn't, so they didn't get their 4 million points. So now those people that didn't even try it were upset. And then, for those of us who powered our way through it, they changed the rules. And I know a lot of players who, were working their butt off to do these very difficult, I would say, world map targets, and invested time and coin in doing it. And then all of a sudden, hey, Monday morning we're going to open up all the vanguards. So Kixeye managed to piss off those people as well that were doing the raid. So you can't make you can't make everybody happy all the time. But I think this raid, Kixeye managed to piss off just about everybody, and there you have it.
You can't keep everybody happy all of the time, but
well, they can't keep anyone happy with this raid by the looks of it.
Yeah, exactly. But at least try and make at least one group of people happy. But yeah, I agree. Even it was a nice gesture of them to open up the targets on the Monday, but it was basically just a kick in the teeth to the people who've actually spent all of their cash to.
I'm going to side with Kixeye a little bit there and give them credit for making some changes, positive rather than negative. Also, the points, I think they could have done it better and make it more broad so everybody gets them. But something's better than nothing, I suppose. So it's a good step for them and for us for getting those.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it's good that they did listen to us a bit.
Right. They made some positive changes, actually increasing the target points, or I should say the points you get from hitting targets was good. I was talking to you guys before the show about how, later on in the raid, after I picked up what I felt like I wanted to pick up, I started just hitting Siege 1 over and over, and I could do Siege 1 for sometimes a half-hour repair or an hour repair, and so I'd do that. I'd hit repair, I'd cancel the campaign, and then come back when my tank was fixed, and get another 379k points. So I got a lot of tokens that way.
Yeah, well, that's pretty much a similar thing as what I done. I done 1 elite, and after using 9 fleets to do 1 elite, I decided that was it. I wasn't going to spend any more, and that's what I started doing. Obviously, the cooldown was a bit of a pain, because there was a 30-minute cooldown when you bought a campaign. But if you're going to do it for free, that's not an issue, because
I really dislike that. You get penalised for trying to grind things out.
Yeah, but I think that's the reason why that they weighted the points towards the latter end of the campaign itself.
Yeah, the majority of points are in the bonus. So I think if they're gonna do that, then why give a cooldown? Let the grinders grind, because they're not getting much for it anyway. So they've both taken away the points and the ability to play continually. And how many people who sat there grinding want to be, or even can, sit there for long period of times, like a few hours, where they can wait half an hour and then do it, or maybe they go and do something else for half an hour and come back. Who wants to keep coming back every half an hour to the game over their weekend? Some people would rather sit there for a few hours one evening, get it all done, and then enjoy the weekend.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I went, I hit a target, clicked repair, and then went and watched TV. Came back. So I'd spend an evening like that. But yeah, the point is that they should give different kinds of players different options to do it. And all these changes they made really just seemed to force people to coin their way through one particular campaign, and pissed a lot of players off.
The thing that really kind of bugs me the most is the whole level restriction things. And they're not dumb. They know that level doesn't mean shit nowadays. they've even said it. Maybe either I'm not going to quote anybody, but I've seen either official Kickstarter stuff or at least mods talking. And you get people crying, "Oh, someone such and such hit me, and he's 30 levels higher. This needs to change." And the mods will be on the forum saying the same thing we say. Levels don't mean anything nowadays because somebody level 50 could have better tech than somebody level 90. So why should we be restricted to play with our level during their events, but then when it comes to the open map targets and playing in PvP, we aren't restricted? It doesn't seem really fair.
Well, the thing is now, I mean, you can get up to like level 50 now in a couple of months, and and you can have the ability to do the raids, and especially if people have helped you out with co-op, you could do that and then coin stuff, or just coin one fleet, the latest fleet out. And someone like me who's been playing since the game started, you could have a better fleet than what I've got. So
yeah,
I mean,
I know people who I'll give you an example. Ewok posted a base on the Alliance crypt of someone who I know. They're a level 107, and they had all level 4 platforms, a few jabs, a few brimstones. It looked like a really weak base, and it was, really. But that person doesn't play. They jump on for the social aspect, they play every now and then. But as a level 107, they're at the top of the game, level-wise. And they don't have, I guarantee, they don't have the fleets that I do. That's no disrespect to them, but I've got better fleets than they do, and I'm a level 87. So they're 20 levels higher, but it doesn't mean that they have more ability and more fleets to do things than I do.
Yep. All right. We ready to move on from the kick screw-ups?
Just want to mention one more thing. Ever do that again, Kixi, I won't be happy. A lot of my alliance were very pissed off in one way or another with it, and learn from it, because I had 2 quit, and there was another fair few that were very close to it as well. So,
I talked about it in my blog post this morning as well, and I said it's shocking that Kixi, they seem to be very surprised by the negative reaction to this raid, and how were they surprised?
I think
they added all these new restrictions and they made it so much harder. And then this.
Yeah, sorry. I was going to say that I think the video was, I think the icing on the cake, really.
Yeah.
Just showed a lot of people just really how out of touch people are developing the game.
I was just about to go there. Yep. Yeah. And again, I took that apart in the blog post too. It showed that they're out of touch with how much people are willing to coin, right? I mean, people don't want to spend 800 to 1,000 coins to essentially get the sort of just the basic new prizes, not even the limited prize in a raid. And then the build was just shit. It wasn't like a low-tech good build. It was like a low-tech shit build.
Yeah, and the driving left much to be desired, because facing splash torpedoes, having your ships grouped up, is not the best way of doing it. But
back to what you just said, Larry, about spending 800 to 1,000 gold. What would make it more appealing to us is if the rest of the game was cheaper. So I wouldn't mind spending a fair bit of time and/or coins grinding away at a prize, knowing that in a week, a few weeks or whatever, I'd have a fleet of them and I'd be out there using them, and it wouldn't take me a day or so to repair them, because we've got to pay a fortune to win these things to maybe build them, and when we do build them, it's going to take a hell of a long time and/or money. So another fortune either way. It's a fortune in time if you're not spending, and then the same for repairs. And it's like, give us a break. If you want me to build this fleet, then give me my repairs so I'm able to use the fleet and make it so I can win it. So I'm wanting to build it, because I didn't participate in this raid, and the reason why is, quite frankly, the new fleet looks shit. Well, maybe not shit. It's a good. You can make a good fleet out of it, but only if you buy it immediately. If I was to get this fleet, and let's say I started building it right now, today I go and build this fleet the long way. By the time this is done, in a few months, it's not going to be useful. I'm going to have to refit it. I mean, if you build this fleet with the new missiles, you're already going to refit the blade missile on. When's it going to end? It's too much refitting and too much to build, and that's why I skipped it. I can take a pass. I've skipped a few raids this year, and I'm not behind. I'm still able to crack some of the best bases and defend my own pretty well, and I do good for myself on a reasonable budget. So it just goes to show you don't have to do every single raid. The raid is an option, so don't feel forced into getting everything.
I mean, myself,
Right.
all I done
in
was...
fact...
Sorry. All I done was got
let
the
me just...
Trident missile, and that was that.
Yep. And so I think what you just said there, Rob, actually brings me to my next slide, the breakthrough. And what I did like about what Kixeye did is I feel like these new prizes were not that good in terms of they weren't like game breaking, oh my god, you have to get this to crack every base. And I think that's a good thing because it slows down the power creep, which has been a lot faster than anyone would call creep, in fact. Some people have called it a power sprint. So yeah, these new prizes were all right, and they have their uses, but they weren't amazing, and I think that's actually a good thing.
Have you seen the videos people put out about the scythe and the death scythe? They seem to do next to nothing to the buildings. I'll be better ramming my ships into the wall and hoping to kill a turret than using that weapon.
Well, the trouble with it is that the flight time is so long that your fleet with Harrier missiles, for example, is killing the target before the missiles even land. So. Well,
I've seen a guy with an unranked fleet, and you could see a break between the Harriers where these sites were hitting. And at the time the sites hit, no other weapons hit, and they didn't do an awful lot of damage.
No.
I mean, I did some analysis on these, and I thought, they weighed 1,000 tons, just like a Siege Missile Z, and I thought their DPS was pretty similar than a Siege Missile Z. So
it certainly isn't reflecting like it. I'd rather have the Siege Missile Z than the Scythe at the moment. Maybe it's a problem with the, we're going to magically see a hotfix soon, or maybe it's just the way that they're made with Splash means that they're really not that effective.
Yeah. In the raid, I took the Neptune, I took the Trident, and I did not take any size. I just took a bunch of tokens with the other points I had.
Am I right in saying they don't retarget either?
I don't think so. They're
if they're
area weapons.
Yeah, they shouldn't retarget, should they? I wouldn't have thought. Because it'd act like a mortar, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I just hadn't seen a retarget. I didn't know if it was just really bad luck on all these videos or if that was intended.
Yeah, I think that's how they work.
Right, has anybody got anything they want to add to the breakthrough slide at all?
That is our last slide. We are done with slides in less than an hour this week.
One thing I kind of liked about the raid is I did like the option to do these campaigns. I know a lot of people was like, God, we've got a raid and you throw us 2 campaigns, but like I've just stated, I didn't do the raid, but I did both of the campaigns, so it was a nice trade-off for me to have an option to still play something this weekend and still do something and get something out of the weekend. So I grabbed my build tokens and some uranium for free, like I usually do, and carried on playing like it was a normal weekend. So I'm glad that they still added those.
Call me cynical, but I think that might have been an effort on Kixeye's part to recoup some of the losses from.
I think everything was.
Not doing the raid.
Even opening these vanguards was arguably to get people to spend to hit them, and a lot of people won. I kept looking at the prizes per hour, and a lot of people were winning the death side.
Yep.
And I've seen a few tokens, quite a lot of Nemis, a couple of Hellstars. A lot of people are spending to hit these. I think giving more points. the whole changes they did to the map targets and everything as well was encouraging people to spend. Everything they did was encouraging people to spend more, but
Well,
it also helps us as well. So you can look at it from both sides.
And you're right, and I mean I'll say it worked for me because I got the Trident and I was done, and I was perfectly happy being done, and then they gave me some points, and then they tweaked the event points, and so I said, all right, I'll do some more and go get the Neptune, and that's what I did. So,
but would you argue that was good though? I mean, obviously you had the option to do it, and you chose to go out and hit more. So it wasn't like Kixeye had fooled you into hitting. You're old enough and clever enough to know whether to hit or not. So
right, nobody twisted my arm. I'm not mad about it.
I think it's good. Spending's an option. Spending isn't a bad thing. It's down to the individuals, and if they make it so you're willing to spend more, then that's good because you're getting more for your money if you are spending. So,
right,
I think that's a good way to go. People shouldn't complain about that.
You know, my perspective on this game in general and coining levels is you look at a game like World of Warcraft or some of these other games that operate on a subscription basis, right? And they charge $15 a month, $10 a month. So I'm absolutely willing to spend at those levels, and that's about what I spent for this raid. But you know, when you start talking about needing $100 to do a raid, you know, some players are willing, and if they are, and that's how they want to spend their money, then that's fine. But I'm not willing to spend $100 a month on a raid. No way.
No, I think the point that I was trying to make really was that, you know, it's all well and good them giving us them as sort of and making it out to be an apology of sorts, but you know, I think that, you know, it was good that they done it. Obviously, I done the token campaign, smoke and token, as you like to call it. And then, so I done that instead of doing any more raid, really, because I was just completely pissed off with it. And I got to the Trident missile because I wanted it. Kind of wish I didn't know.
Right.
But I got the Trident and that was it. And as part of my protest, my stick my fingers up your kicks, fuck you, I'm not doing anymore. That was it. I did do the campaign because obviously I can run through it, one fleet, repair it overnight, done. So that's pretty good for me.
Yeah, I used my Crusaders on the campaigns, and at half repair with the Monarch distraction, I mean, some of that was like instant. So
yeah,
I went through the campaigns with my Crusaders, and since those weren't what I was using for the raid, I didn't mind.
So yeah, it's good. Good that they've done it. But yeah, pissed a lot of people off this raid. I can tell you that for certain. I was not a happy bunny. But there you go. Have we got anything else we want to discuss before we go? Is there anything from chat at all?
While you read through chat, it's not so much a discussion, it's just the one word which I'm going to repeat at the end of every show until it's sorted. Unreactive. That's made visible immediately would be preferred. Tomorrow I will be happy with as well. Unreactive. Fix it, Kixeye.
Price is wrong is in chat. Just saying that 14 splash 75 spread means it's less than 25% of chance of hitting on the new missile.
Yeah, my rough estimate, I showed about a 50% equivalent accuracy on that. And I mean, you know, like I said, I figured that into the DPS when I said it was, you know, about like a Siege Missile Z in terms of damage. But it's slower.
Agrees,
and I agree with, we got Andrew saying he'd rather leave the slot open and spend 1,000 tons elsewhere. I mean...
blade pistols? I'd rather have blade pistols.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Comment in chat, King of Dragons, unreactive, what's wrong with it? Basically,
is this guy taking the piss?
It's the stat for the unreactive ability of ships. It's
the shadiness of not telling us a stat. It's the whole. I'm not gonna go. I could go into a rant all day about this, but in a nutshell, why should we not have the stat there? Just like I've said before, if we built a ship and we wanted to evade, simply knowing it has evade isn't good enough. You'd like to know if it's 10% or 20% or 50 or whatever, and I'd like to know the same for my own reactive, so I can build my fleets and tailor it around it, rather than having to guess or wait for someone to coin it to find out. You know, we're going to see what it is anyway, because people will build it, people will use it, and I'll be able to see with my own two eyes exactly what the reactive is, and make an educated guess on how I should build to defend it or to use it. But why should I have to wait for that privilege? It should be there with all the other stats.
For example, the Interceptor's 6 seconds on reactive is the stat for that. We know this because it was mentioned when we got them, even though it's not on the stats bar. However, all of the new stuff just says unreactive, and there's been no follow-up with it to tell us.
And there's a visible. Yeah, I wouldn't mind if it was just a slight difference, but you know, you get a V2C side by side with a Bulbous. There is a massive visible difference there. It doesn't take a brain surgeon to work out there's a massive difference, but you know, they're both listed the exact same on the blueprint.
Yeah, 0.01, I think it is, isn't it? Seconds for the Bulbous and all of the new stuff, compared to the 6 seconds from the Interceptors. As someone's mentioned, you can find out through data mining, but Kix doesn't want to show it in the game.
Well, so, I don't want to have to rely on people to go and do that and make posts and stuff for me to find out. I don't see why they don't just make that themselves. Why should we have to? I'm going to coin Kix-sized term here. Why should we go on a witch hunt to find information? It should be there for us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just like to mention that Ross Wood has just mentioned that he does, in fact, still do Skype naked for coins. So anybody who wants to take him up on that offer, go find him on Facebook.
Is he giving the coins or receiving the coins or what?
He's gonna have to give me coins because I sure as hell don't.
I'm gonna say if you wanna speed up my bunches, then you know, feel free to do what you like. I'll just like step away for 10 minutes, go and have a smoke, come back and pretend that you please me, and then take the coins and go.
Oh, don't want to see.
Right. So I think we're done for tonight. I think, Ori.
Yeah, just a reminder that Ross is not invited to the Friday show because people do have cameras on here, so it's a bit of a risky ground.
Right. Yeah, Ross. Unfortunately, we won't be able to accept you on the Friday show.
I want to also apologise for last Friday where the show was neglected on our part. So, you know, I left it in Tyler's hands. He had said to us before that he wasn't able to do it. The message kind of slipped past me, and I think probably everybody else. So we apologise for no show on Friday, but we'll make sure there is one this Friday. I know I won't be on this Friday. If I do, I'll be a guest slipping in halfway, but we'll sort something out for you.
Yeah, and we would also like to apologise about our recent technical issues, which we also believe is related to Tyler as well.
Everything's going back to Tyler.
But yeah, so yeah, I think that's about us tonight. Thank you everybody who's come out to join us in chat. Thank you to everybody who watches the recording. Don't forget to check out Larry's article.
bpprof.blogspot.com. Again, you know, this morning I published something comparing missiles and how they do against the Scourge. So if you like numbers, go read it.
So that's there for
Google.
Yeah.
Actually, I do want to say I'm going to be doing a video soon. Yeah. Me and one of my mates, we talked about it on the base designs page. But we've kind of neglected it because of the raid and being busy in real life and stuff. I've got a bit of a hectic weekend, but we're hoping that within a week we're going to have that video out there, especially now Outpost 7's out, giving more detail into base defense.
Cool. So that'll be on the BPC page, so check that out. Obviously, if you're not on the Battle Pirates Crib page, that's facebook.com/the Battle Pirates Crib. Just search Facebook, should come up quite easy. We will be doing some updates to the ship builds archive as well. I'm going to probably add a couple of hunter builds in there as well over the weekend.
A lot of changes for Dock 12 as well, for those who are
Yeah.
willing to refit their ships.
So yeah, lots for us to do, but we'll try and get there as soon as we can get there. As always, if you have any questions about anything we've covered tonight, or just need help with anything in general, don't forget you can message your page, and one of us will get back to you.
And if you're feeling unreactive, feel free to message Kixeye.
About the unreactive, yeah. So, thank you very much, guys. We'll see you Friday if you can join us for our community show.
Not Ross.
Apart from Ross. Ross can stay in YouTube chat. And we shall catch you next week at Wednesday, same time for the update show. So, thanks very much, guys, and catch you later.
Cheers, guys.